everybody, Devon Miller here, and welcome to another video in my YouTube series about my guitar rig. And today we are continuing to take a look at the Mesa Boogie Triaxis by taking a look at the Lead 1 Yellow mode. As with all of the Triaxis focused videos that I've done so far, I do have all of the effects bypassed in my guitar rig. So what you're hearing in this video is strictly the Mesa Boogie Triaxis, the power amp, and the speaker cabinet.
This doesn't look like a chicken.
Oh, you're right. This isn't chicken. This is chicken. Want some?
Eddie, I think I'll just be over by the saltines.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Go ahead and get us a table. I'll have some of the yellow. And don't get cheap on me.
So the Lead 1 Yellow mode is similar to the Lead 1 Green mode because it is also taken from the overdrive preamp circuit of the Mesa Boogie Mark I amplifier. Where Lead 1 Yellow is different is there's a little bit more gain applied to this mode, which gives it a tighter and more focused sound. This also gives the notes a bit more sustain. There's also a boost in the mid-range frequencies, which makes this mode a little bit more bold and less bright. Kind of like an amplifier with a tube screamer in front of it.
All right, good information about Wayne Stock. Very exciting. We'll be back with more right after Pig Sports. Right now, it's 16 minutes past the big hour. Is that not right, Mr. Scream? Great, good stuff. I think people are getting really cranked.
So let's see how each of the controls affect the sound in this mode. Now, again, in the Lead 1 Yellow mode, the signal chain actually starts with the Lead 1 drive control, before then moving on to the gain control and then the tone controls, the master, etc. So in order to get your overdrive sound, you have to have the right balance between the Lead 1 drive and the gain control. Lead 1 drive set lower than the gain control will give you a warmer and smoother and more even overdrive saturation. Lead 1 drive set higher than the gain control will give you brighter and more hollow overdrive saturation, but sometimes is more desirable when you're trying to fit into a full band mix.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the force. You believe it's this boy?
Treble and presence also greatly affect the sound in this mode. Setting both of these controls low will give you a smooth, almost liquid sound. Of course, setting these controls higher will brighten up the sound quite a bit.
So this other guy, he's a Terminator like you, right?
Not like me. A T-1000. Advanced prototype.
You mean more advanced than you are?
Yes. And mimetic polyalloy.
What the hell does that mean?
Liquid metal.
The middle control is kind of a wild card. This mode already has a mid-range boost built into it, but it can still benefit from higher settings on the middle control. And of course, lower controls, the sound's more scooped.
What's happening out there?
He's winning. I see 3 of them out there.
Hit the one in the middle. Right. Hit the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the bass control, the manual recommends not setting it any higher than 4.5, just because the bass frequencies just get way too out of control at higher settings.
Oh, I don't have what it takes to play guitar. I mean, I'm no Joe Walsh in the brains department.
Who is? Look, you don't have the weak, womanly fingers of a guitar princess. You, my friend, have the muscular stumps of a bass man. Try this on.
What the rock?
Now that was a lick.
I did a lick?
Keep 'em coming. Yes, now bob your head. Bob it, bob it, bob it. Dude, usually it takes years to learn such neck confidence. Now check this out.
Oh my God, I'm amazing.
Dude, you're already one of the greatest bass players of all time.
The lead 2 drive has no function in this mode, so we'll skip over that for now. Master, just like with all the other modes, controls the volume. So lower settings are quieter, higher settings are louder, pretty self-explanatory. And finally, we come to the dynamic voice. Now, I typically don't use the dynamic voice in this mode, or if I do, I use it at a very low setting because I don't want to boost those bass frequencies typically. However, the manual does recommend trying the dynamic voice out in this mode for an ominous guitar solo sound. It recommends to set the gain and the lead 1 drive controls both to 8. And then dialing in some dynamic voice for extra color. Kind of reminds me of like a fuzz pedal.
If we're gonna play games, I'm gonna need a cup of coffee.
The good cop, bad cop routine.
Not exactly.
Never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. You can't feel the neck. See?
So the Triaxis comes with one pre-programmed factory preset for the rhythm yellow mode, and it is kind of a heavy, dark blues sound, which you can use on, say, Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. Or the song My Head's in Mississippi by ZZ Top. So they have the gain set to 8. So, you know, really pushing those tubes into overdrive. Treble is set to 7, so a little higher treble setting, trying to brighten up the sound. Middle they've got set to 3, so kind of scooping the mid-range frequencies out a little bit. Since this mode already has a mid-range boost built into it, we can get away with kind of lowering those mid-range frequencies, and you know the guitar is not going to disappear. Bass they have set to 4, so kind of pushing the bass frequencies as much as we can get away with in this mode. Remember, you don't want to go over 4.5, otherwise the bass frequencies just get way too out of control. Lead 1 drive is set to 7. So kind of a high lead 1 drive setting, but still lower than the gain setting, so we're still in that kind of smooth and even overdrive sound. Lead 2 drive is set to 0 because that has no function in this mode. Master is set to 4.5, so kind of backing off on the master a little bit to compensate for that higher gain setting. Presence is set to 3.5, so again, backing off on the pick attack, trying to keep it a little on the darker side. And dynamic voice is set to 0. So I typically use this mode for two main sounds. The first and most common way is kind of a Stevie Ray Vaughan type overdrive. Now I would typically use this sound on, say, the song Highway Star by Deep Purple. I can also use this sound on most of our Fleetwood Mac songs. And finally, this sound also sounds great on anytime I'm trying to emulate Brian May. So, like say in our Queen medley. So as you can see, I've got the gain set to 5, so not really pushing the tubes into too much overdrive. I don't want a lot of saturation in this sound. Treble I've got set to 7, so boosting those treble frequencies, trying to brighten up the sound a little bit. Middle I've got set to 5, so not really boosting the mid-range, but not really scooping it out either. Bass I've got set to 3, so kind of backing off on those bass frequencies, trying to make sure that they don't get too thick and flubby. Lead 1 drive I've got set to 4, so slightly less than the gain control. So we're still kind of in that smooth and even overdrive saturation. Lead 2 drive I've got set to 0. It has no function in this mode. Master I've got set to a 5.5, so kind of boosting the master a little bit since I've got that lower gain setting. Presence I've got set to 7, so again, kind of trying to bring out some of that pick attack and you get some distinction in the notes. And dynamic voice I have set to 0.
Hey Sam, this is the guy I was telling you about.
So the other main way that I would use the lead 1 yellow mode is for the second guitar solo sound on the song Magic Man by Heart. So I've got the gain set to 5. You know, so again, not really pushing those tubes into overdrive too much. I don't want a lot of saturation on this sound. Treble I also have set to 5, so you know, not really boosting those treble frequencies. I want this sound to be a little bit darker. Middle I've got set to 6, so you know, boosting those mid-range frequencies a bit, trying to help thicken up the sound. Bass I've got set to 4, so you know, bringing in about as much bass frequencies as I can get away with to help kind of warm up the guitar. Lead 1 drive I've got set to 3, so you know, kind of a lower lead 1 drive setting this time. You know, again, I don't want a lot of overdrive and saturation on this sound. If you go back and listen to the original recording, it's almost a clean sound, so that's kind of what I'm going for. Lead 2 drive I've got set to 0. It has no function in this mode. Master I've got set to a 5.5, so you know, kind of boosting the volume a bit since I've got a lower gain setting. Presence I also have set to 5, so you know, not really accenting the pick attack too much, but not completely taking it away either. And dynamic voice I have set to 0.
We just came up with a new nickname.
Oh, that is. It's so good.
I got a new
It's
nickname.
So good.
The Magic Man. Now you see me. Now you don't.
That is the stupidest nickname I've ever heard.
Is it, Ricky? Because I think you wish you thought of it.
All right, you got me. That's an awesome nickname.
So that pretty much does it for the Lead 1 yellow mode. Please, as always, throw a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, let me know what you're thinking about this video series, and next time we will take a look at the Lead 1 red mode. So until next time, goodbye for now, and I will see you in the next video.